how are you? Brian Cain, your peak performance and mental conditioning coach here, and this is the best mental game of hitting program ever made. Number one thing you got to understand is in hitting, it's about having a positive plate appearance. It's about helping your team win. It's about hitting the ball hard, having a quality at bat, and doing anything you can to give yourself the best chance for success. You must control what you can control, and controlling what you can control at the plate is having a quality at bat. You can't control batting average, and you can't control getting hits. And once you understand that, you take your game to another level, and you become a true one-pitch warrior that will give yourself the absolute best chance for success. You see, I've spent my life inside the mental game, working with some of the greatest hitting coaches, the greatest offensive coordinators in the game of baseball. And on this program, I'm going to share with you what I've learned from the best programs in the country. You see, there's two types of experience, expensive and inexpensive. Expensive experience is learning from your own mistakes, learning from your own failures. In the game of baseball, to climb that staircase of success is way too difficult if you're only going to learn from your own performance. You must learn from other people. You must surround yourself with people that can be mentors to you to help teach you about the mental game of hitting, and that's my goal through this program. You see, hitting at the highest level is about 90% mental, 10% physical, because all the physical work is done. When you're a major league hitter, the physical work is done going into the World Series. It's about going up there, clear mind, fully confident, with a plan, and giving yourself the best chance for success. This is not a mechanical CD. This is a mental game CD. And my friend Todd Whitting, the head baseball coach at the University of Houston that just led the Cougars to a super regional where they lost to the University of Texas, who went on to play in the College World Series. I've known Todd now for about 10 years, and Todd said something I want to share with you, some great inexpensive experience. He said, early in my career, when I was coaching hitters, it was all about mechanics. And then we would talk about plan and approach second and mental game third. And he said, now, as a head coach, what I've learned, and what I know now, I wish I knew when I was an assistant, is that the mental game comes first. You've got to be confident. You've got to be clear. You've got to have a plan. And then you go to work on mechanics. Because you can have the greatest looking swing in the world. You can mimic Ken Griffey Jr. You can mimic the greatest swings in the history of the game. But if you don't go to the plate confident, relentless, in control, ready to attack that fastball, you're going to beat yourself. So we're going to work on the 6 inches between the ears that control the 6 feet below. This is going to be the same program that I've taught to over 500 draft picks into Major League Baseball. 109 alone in the 2014 draft. I don't say that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you that the athletes I get to work with in the mental game of baseball are in the best high school and the best college programs in the country. I had a short stint with the Washington Nationals. And I'm going to share with you some of the challenges that they have at the professional level, that they also have at the amateur level, that you're going to experience at the amateur level or you're going to experience at the professional level. And I want to share with you how to deal with those challenges. And the first one is to make sure you know where you are and where you want to end up. You see, one of my mentors, Harvey Dorfman, wrote the book, The Mental Game of Baseball, wrote the book, The Mental Keys to Hitting, and if you don't have those, I highly suggest you pick them up. And when I asked Harvey about the mental game and what he knows now he wished he knew then, he said, Brian, you need 3 things to improve. Athletes must have 3 steps to personal improvement. Number 1 is they must have an awareness. They must know where they are and where they want to go. Number 2, they must have the strategies to help them get there. And number 3, they must put those strategies into action. So let me ask you this question to help you get an understanding of where you're at. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you performing compared to how you want to perform at the dish? Now, whether you give yourself a 2 or you give yourself an 8, here's the next question. What's one thing you can start doing to help close the gap from where you are to where you want to be? What's one thing you must stop doing to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be? And what's one thing you must continue doing to help close the gap from where you are to where you want to be? You see, coming up with an awareness of where you are and where you want to go, and creating the strategies that you can implement to help you get there. Some of them you got to start doing, some of them you got to stop doing. Like you got to start getting to the yard earlier and having a solid pre-practice or pre-game hitting routine that you do every day. You got to stop evaluating your success on batting average and start evaluating on quality at bat average. And you got to continue being absolutely relentless to the fastball. That's going to make you a quality hitter. So you have to have that awareness of where you are and where you want to go and the plan to help you get there. Now let's talk about a system that's going to help you to play your best. It's called the 4-Rip-3 system. Now the 4-Rip-3 system that I teach from an offensive standpoint in baseball and from a hitting standpoint is kind of a hybrid of everything that I've learned from working with some of the greatest coaches in the country. And it starts with the 3 P's of peak performance. Live in the present, focus on the process, and stay positive. Present moment focus, one pitch at a time. Process, control what you can control, quality at bats over batting average. And the third part is to be positive. Focus on what you want, not what you're trying to avoid. Turn the I have to's into I get to's and I want to's. And part of a positive mentality is shifting from being a winner or a loser into winners and learners. It's shifting from a mentality of I was good or bad today into I was good and bad today. And being that learner, it will teach you how to journal so that you can continue to speed up your learning curve as fast as possible. The I in the 4-Rip-3 system is to use mental imagery. And on this CD, I'm going to take you through a mental imagery training track for hitting so that you can use this as part of your pre-game preparation either the night before or the day of a competition. And then we're going to talk about the 4 R's, which I learned from one of my greatest mentors of all time, Dr. Ken Ravizza, professor of sports psychology at Cal State Fullerton, where I was a grad assistant coach in 2002 and 3. Currently, he's working in the major leagues for close to his 30th season with the Tampa Bay Rays. Used to be with the Dodgers and the Angels. And Dr. Ravizza, if you have not yet seen Evan Longoria's E60 on ESPN, go on to YouTube and watch it right now. And you're going to meet Dr. Ken Ravizza, my mentor, and you're going to hear him and Evan Longoria talk about how Evan Longoria became the player that he is now by understanding a lot of this system that we're talking about. And Dr. Ravizza, in his book, Heads Up Baseball, talks about the continuum of the R's. And we're going to focus on, in 4-Rip-3, having a routine to become a damn machine of consistency at the plate. We're going to talk about recognizing your signal lights when you're going good, when you're going bad, and how to release it and refocus to the next pitch. Because that's what the one-pitch warrior does, is they focus on this pitch, right here, right now, focused in the moment, not concerned about anything that happened in the past, only living for the now. So before we get too far into 4-Rip-3, I got to know where you're at. More importantly, you got to know where you're at. You see, there's 4 stages to acceptance into the mental game. Stage number 1 is that you say, this ain't for me. I'm listening to the CD because a coach or a parent gave it to me. This ain't for me, man. Well, guess what, bro? You're going to get passed by. Because if you haven't figured out yet that baseball is a mental game, you might as well hang up your spikes and go get a job at McDonald's because you're not going to be making it in this game for very long. The second step is that they say, well, this might be okay for others. I watched the Evan Longoria E60, and that guy has a routine, and that guy wasn't recruited by anyone out of high school, but he's a Major League Baseball all-star, so the mental game was good for him, but not for me. And if you watch the College World Series, if you watch Major League Baseball, you are going to see almost every player doing exactly what we're talking about. The word is out, man. The cat is out of the bag. The mental game is the way of the future in the game of baseball from an offensive mindset, no question. And hopefully you'll get to step 3, which is I'll try it. I'll try taking a breath as a part of my routine. I'll try evaluating my at-bats on quality at-bats instead of batting average because it's a more true measure because I can control it. And then you'll get to stage 4, which is I can't believe I did it any other way. The 4 stages to acceptance. Not for me, okay for others. I'll try it. Can't believe I did it any other way. And players, guess what? Your coaches may not subscribe to this system. They may be uneducated enough to realize that the mental game is paramount in baseball. You heard about Todd Whitting's progression from mechanics to plan approach into the mental game. It's got to be flipped upside down and go mental game, plan and approach, mechanics. Because if you turn on a tube in Major League Baseball, you're going to see a lot of different ways to get it done. So my goal for you is that you get to the place that says, I'll try it. You must also understand that there are 4 stages of commitment to what you do. 4 stages of commitment to you being the best hitter you can be. And stage number 1 is that you see going to the yard and taking extra swings outside of when you normally would train as a job. Or you see it as number 2, I got to go do work today to become a better hitter. Doing work sounds like a lot of fun. I go do work when I dig a ditch, not when I get to play baseball. As Pete Rose said, I would run through hell in a gasoline suit to play baseball. And you got a short window of opportunity to play this game. So don't look at it as a job or work. And don't even want to make baseball a career. You see, if you want to make baseball a career as a hitter, you might give yourself a good chance. But if you want to give yourself the absolute best chance for success, it's got to be a mission. You see, when you're on a mission, you're going to wear this CD out. When you're on a mission, it's the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning is how can I get better today? It's the last thing you think about before you go to bed. Did I get better today? And you are on a mission. Like a member of our military who's over in Afghanistan, they're not going over there for a job or work or a career. They're going on a mission. And if you can train being a man on a mission, you will give yourself the best, absolute best chance for success. And your mission is fueled by having a plan that you set the night before so that when you wake up, you can get out of bed, you can make your bed, and you can get started. So let's talk about our 4-Rip-3 system from a hitting standpoint and how you can apply this to your baseball. So living in the present moment. The goal is to play one play at a time, one pitch at a time, and to not let one pitch or one play defensively impact the next one. As Chip Kelly, the great football coach at the University of Oregon, now with the Philadelphia Eagles, said, WTD, we got to win the day. Well, I want you to WTP, win this pitch. And in 2013, I had the wonderful opportunity to travel with the Team USA Collegiate Baseball National Team. Went over to Japan, played Cuba in Omaha, and then down in North Carolina. And our staff was Jim Schlossnagle, the head coach at TCU, Mike Bianco, the head coach at Ole Miss, who the following season they both went to Omaha, Tim Esme, the head coach at Arizona State, and Ed Service, the head coach at Creighton University in Omaha. And probably the 3 words I heard the most in the dugout with that team were win this pitch. The second most important words I think I heard were so what? And let me ask you this as a hitter. Are you that bad of a hitter that you've got to have every single call by the umpire go your way to win? That you've got to have every bounce and every break go your way to win? To have a good average? To be a good hitter? Well, if I get screwed by an umpire, I'm going to go back and throw my helmet and slam my bat because I'm committed and I'm tough. No, it's because you're too damn immature to handle the pressure and failure that comes in baseball. You ever seen Derek Jeter go back and slam a helmet, slam a bat? The guy gets it. He understands this is a hard game. And he understands that going back to the dugout, you got to take your time to learn from what just happened in that previous at-bat so you can use that to your advantage in the future. One of the greatest college hitters of this time was a guy named Mike Pappy at the University of Virginia. And if you watched the College World Series, hopefully you didn't watch as a fan. Because if you're a baseball fan, that's great, but that's not going to help you be a player. You got to watch as a baseball student. And you got to have a notebook with you so that when the great commentators like Aaron Boone and Kyle Peterson are talking about the game, you can write some things down and learn from it. Or when you see Mike Pappy go back to the dugout, and the first thing he does is he breaks out a clipboard with a journal page on it, and he's evaluating his own at-bat. Maybe you should start doing that. Maybe you should be on a mission and committed to the next level and start to learn from every at-bat so you can be better for the next one. That's all going to help you stay in the present moment. It's all going to help you live in the now, right now. Because if you want to win, my friend, WIN stands for what's important now. And I'm going to take you through some breathing exercises that you can do on a daily basis. They're very short, 2 to 3 minutes. And if you do them on a daily basis, you will train yourself to be in the now. Understand this, the number one thing you can do to help you get in the present and play with a clear mind at the plate is to be able to take a deep breath. So let me now take you through 3 different breathing exercises that you can use, one of them a day, every day, just like you would lift weights or you would hit off of a tee, to train yourself that when you take a deep breath, 3-2 bases loaded, your brain and your body know exactly where you want to be. So our first present moment exercise is called the 5-4-3-2-1 breathing exercise. And all I want you to do is sit up straight in your chair with your feet flat on the floor, hands either on the arms of your chair or in your lap. And I want you to fix your eyes on a spot on the wall in front of you. Focus on that spot, and now let your eyes gently shut. As you inhale, breathing nice and deep through your nose, and exhale out your nose. In, full deep breath up in through your nose. Exhale, nice and slow, out your nose. And when you hear me say the number 5, I want you to take your awareness and your attention and put it into your toes, in the balls of your feet, your arches, your ankles, your Achilles, your calves, and your shins. When you hear the number 4, put it into your knees, your quads, your hamstrings, your hips, as your whole lower body. Release, relax, and let go. With the number 3, your lower back, your mid back, your upper back, your abs, your obliques, your ribs, your pecs. Release, relax, and let go. And with the number 2, your traps, your shoulders, your biceps, your triceps, your elbows, your forearms, your hands, your fingers. Release, relax, and let go. And with the number 1, go up the back of your neck, the back of your head, your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw. Your lips gently part and the tongue just hangs in your mouth as a total body relaxation and centering takes over. And what you realize is that the more relaxed you become, the better you might feel, and the better you might feel, the more relaxed you might want to become. Please take one more good deep breath in through your nose, out through your nose, as this concludes our 5-4-3-2-1 breathing exercise. You see, there's a difference between thinking and awareness and attention. Thinking is always about the past or the future. Awareness and attention is always directed into the moment. So when I was asking you to put your brain in your toes or the balls of your feet or your knees, it's all about directing your awareness and your attention to those parts of your body. And just like when you walk to home plate, you're going to grab the bat in your hand on the barrel with your dominant hand, and you're going to walk to home plate like you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. When you get to home plate, you're going to clean out the batter's box like you probably already do. But when you clean that batter's box, you're doing it to take absolute possession of that batter's box and ownership because it belongs to you. But as you're cleaning out that dirt, just like as you're listening to this, if you go ahead and move your feet on the carpet or on the ground where you're listening to this, feel that carpet or that ground underneath your feet. That's putting your attention and awareness into your feet and into the ground. And if you're playing in Yankee Stadium in front of 40,000 and you can walk to home plate and clean the dirt underneath your feet and feel the dirt with your awareness and attention, you, my friend, are in the present moment. Another breathing exercise that you can use to train yourself to stay in the present moment is simply to inhale and count to 8 and exhale and count to 10. So in this audio, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say inhale, 2, 3, 4, and I'll count to 8, and then exhale and count to 10. And I want you just to keep your awareness and attention focused on the air coming in and out of your nose, but also see the number that I'm saying. Whether it's seeing it on a scoreboard, seeing the number fly at you, seeing the number on the ground in front of you, all of this happens in your mind. And if you recognize that your mind wanders from that number, bring it back to that next number. We're going to go for 10 breaths. We'll begin with an inhalation in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that concludes your inhale, exhale, 8 to 10 exercise. How did you do? How'd you do with keeping your mind on that number? Keeping your awareness and attention on your breath in the number that we were talking about. You see, that's what the mental game of baseball is all about, is being able to keep your mind in the moment, one pitch, one number at a time. And by listening to this exercise, you're going to develop an increased awareness of when your mind starts to wander and then the ability to bring it back to the next pitch. Just like using a concentration grid. You see, a concentration grid is a number grid, 100 numbers on it, 00 to 99, and what you're to do is cross off the number 00 and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 99. And what happens is your mind will tend to wander, like they always do. And you just bring it back to the next number, just like you're going to have to bring it back to the next pitch in baseball. So building in a concentration grid to be a part of your routine will be tremendously beneficial to help you stay in the moment. You can get concentration grids. I have a book of them, actually 365 of them, so you can do one a day on my website, which is briancain, BrianCain.com. So go ahead and pick up those concentration grids, build that into part of your daily mental conditioning routine to help you keep that mind in the present moment. One number, one pitch at a time. Another great exercise you can use is to simply say to yourself, 1 as you inhale, 2 as you exhale, 3 as you inhale, 4 as you exhale. So anytime you're sitting, waiting for class to start, sitting at the field, waiting for your time to bat, maybe you're 4 people away in the dugout, or you're just sitting around while they're watering the field waiting to play. Sit down, close your eyes, and inhale as deep and full as you can through your nose and say 1 to yourself, and then exhale and say 2. And see how far you can go before you give away your attention and awareness to something else. And all of these exercises are there to help you train your mind to be in that present moment, competing one breath, one number, one pitch at a time. Because those who compete one pitch at a time give themselves the absolute best chance for success. Let's talk about our second P, that of the process. And I want you to think about the process as a staircase to get you to your outcome goal. You see, everyone has an outcome goal. We used to do goal setting all the time when I was in high school and college as a baseball player. Well, what do you want to hit? I want to hit 350. I want to hit 400. Great. What do you need to do to get there? Well, I don't know. 2001, I'm coaching in the Cape Cod Baseball League, some of the top college baseball players in the country. I did a goal setting exercise with them before the season started. Every guy said he wanted to hit 300. Two guys in the entire Cape Cod League hit over 300. And the mistake that I made as a young mental conditioning coach was I didn't necessarily give them a process as to how to go about hitting 300, nor did I challenge their mentality to say, look, you cannot control the outcome, bro. You got to focus on quality at bats, not hitting 300, but having 3 for 4 quality at bats every day. So the process is about understanding your steps that you have to take to get you to where you want to go. The process is also about understanding what you can and what you can't control. So I want you to stop this audio and make a list of what you can and what you can't control on the offensive side of the game as a hitter. Also add in base running and add in position play. A list of what you can, a list of what you can't control. Stop the audio now. Thanks for stopping that audio and coming back. Let's take a look at your list. Let's talk about the things first that you can't control. Did you have umpires, coaches, parents, fans, your teammates, the other team? The way the ball bounces, the field conditions, the weather, the score, how your teammates play, your batting average? You might be going, wait a minute, Cain, I can control my batting average. Bro, how many times in your life have you hit a ball right on the screws or at somebody and gotten out? A lot. How many times have you gotten one off the handle at the end of the bat and gotten a base hit? Probably quite a few of those too. You see, baseball is a crazy game, man. You can do everything the right way and you still got nothing to show for it. You get out. But the problem is if you evaluate on the outcome, you're going to be out of the game. You got to evaluate on the process if you're going to be a professional. Notice the first 3 letters of the word outcome, O-U-T. First 3 letters of the word process, P-R-O. So if you want to have a pro mentality, bro, you got to focus on the process and focusing on the things that you can control. Not batting average, but focus on yourself, which you can control, and focus on your ape, your attitude. Focus on your appearance. Like how you walk to home plate. You got to walk to home plate like you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof and unstoppable. A couple of college programs I worked with at the University of Maryland and at the University of Southern California. We actually took out the on-deck circle and put it in an on-deck octagon. So you would walk to home plate like you were a UFC fighter walking to the cage getting ready to go to battle. So I want you to do the O-dub, do the octagon walk as you walk to home plate with that bat in your dominant hand on the barrel where you want to hammer those baseballs and walk up there and clean out that batter's box and get ready to go to battle, mano-y-mano, one-on-one with that dude standing 60 feet, 6 inches away, daring him to put that ball over your plate. That's the mentality you want to have as a one-pitch warrior. Walking to home plate, confident, huge body language, aggressive, ready to absolutely drop the hammer. That's part of the process. That's your A, your appearance, your attitude, your aggressiveness. Let's talk about the P. You can control your plan. And most hitters I work with at the younger level, they go to home plate without a plan. They go up there trying to see one pitch, adjust to another, and trying to hit anything they want. Instead of going up there with a clear plan saying, I'm going to hunt fastball until I get 2 strikes. Or going up there with a plan that says, I'm just going to try to hit the ball hard somewhere that it's pitched. Or going up there with a plan that says, hey, run around second base, no outs. I'm doing everything in my will to hit the ball to the right side and move this guy over. That's the crazy thing about baseball. Take that situation, run around second, nobody out, and you hit a ground ball to the second baseman. Does the runner move from second to third? Yes. Does your batting average go down? Yes. Is it a quality at bat? Yes. Does your quality at bat average go up? Yes. But everyone sees your batting average went down. But you helped the team win. So that's the difference between batting average and quality at bat. Is quality at bat doesn't always cause your batting average to go up, but it does always help your team to win. Positive plate appearances and quality at bats, part of your plan for success. You see, you can also control your preparation. What's your pre-practice hitting routine like? What do you do? Do you just show up to the yard and go through the motions, or do you have a very scripted and detailed pre-practice hitting routine that you use before practice starts? And if you're a college athlete and the NCAA says you can only practice for 4 hours a day, well, guess what? If you practice for 4 hours a day, you're not going to get any better than anyone else in the country because that's the same amount of time that they're practicing. So you have to have quality practice, and you have got to get there early or stay late and get your extra swings in. They call it the 10,000 hour rule. It's featured in many books like Talent is Overrated, The Talent Code, and Outliers, where they reference people like Tiger Woods, who by the time he was 6 years old had 10,000 hours of golf, which made him world class. So you got to put the time in. You got to work hard, but you also got to work smart. And working smart is understanding what a quality at bat is and how you can have a pre-practice hitting routine that we'll talk about with you here in a moment. But the E of your APE is controlling your effort and going all out every day, playing with great energy. Because you can control your energy. And you're either an energy giver or energy taker. You can't be both. So focus on being an energy giver. Focus on giving a great effort, sprinting on and off the field. The championship programs that I get a chance to be around, they actually stopwatch how you run on and off the field. Vanderbilt University, the 2014 NCAA National Champions, they have a standard for their defensive players to get on and off the field. What's your standard? What's the standard in your program? If you're a coach and you don't have one, let's get with it. If you're a player and your staff doesn't have one, challenge them to say, we got to play with a greater energy. Like TCU baseball, they talk about playing with a relentless energy. Talk about playing with an extreme hustle mentality. Brian Holiday, their catcher in 2010, Johnny Bench Award winner for greatest catcher in college baseball, now with the Detroit Tigers. His goal was to sprint to back up first base in every play and get back to home plate before the hitter got up there. Extreme hustle. When there's an out at first base, they're getting the ball around the horn and guys are sprinting back to their position with the ball back to the pitcher in under 6 seconds. Extreme hustle. You see, you're either an entertainer or an energizer when you play. And I see a lot of guys with the eye black, the wristbands, the chains, the paddings, the Evo Shield, all that stuff. Because they want to be an entertainer. They want to look good. Focus more on playing good. Play with a relentless energy. Because from working with top college programs around the country, I can tell you this. They're looking for energy. And energy is a choice. Energy is a controllable. So focus on what you can control. Yourself and your ape. Your attitude, your appearance, your aggressiveness, your plan, your preparation, your performance, how you play, your energy, your effort, and your emotions. Learn to master those, and you will give yourself the best chance for success. So we talked earlier about a very critical part of the process is establishing what it means to have a quality at bat. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about what is a quality at bat. Because I believe that there are 8 ways that you can have a quality at bat. And as coaches, remember that rewarded behavior is repeated behavior, and measurement equals motivation. So you've got to reward quality at bats and you'll get more of them. You've got to measure quality at bats and you will get more of them. Measure them in games, measure them in practice, measure them in batting practice, and you'll get more quality at bats. You see, how do we define a quality at bat? Let's define a quality at bat as an at bat that makes a positive contribution towards our team goals. A quality at bat, executing a hit and run, executing a sacrifice bunt, a sack, a drag, or a squeeze. Quality at bat, executing a bunt for a base hit, a walk, a hit by pitch. If you move a runner from second to third with no outs. Anytime you drive in a run from third base with less than 2 outs. Any RBI in all hard hit balls on the line or on the ground. Now, very important note. All base hits are not quality at bats. You got a 3-0 count. They give you the green light. And you get jammed and hit that swinging bunt base hit that stays on the foul line and you're safe at first base. That is not a quality at bat. So all hard hit balls on the line or on the ground are quality at bats. Not all base hits are quality at bats because we want hard contact. You hit the ball hard, my friend, you're going to win games. If you have an 8-pitch at bat, that's a quality at bat. If you see 4 or more pitches after you go down 0-2 in the count, that is a quality at bat. And your team goal should be to have a 500 quality at bat average. In the best programs in the country that I've been around at the college level, they will post in their locker room every day the quality at bat averages. After a weekend series or after a week of games, they will post quality at bat averages from that week and also for the entire year. Because remember, measurement is motivation, and what you measure will get done. So make sure you're focused on quality at-bats, not batting average, and understand that baseball is a weird game in that their measurements that they put out there for batting average and all these measurements of success are not within your control. And if you're going to be consistently a peak performer, your goal absolutely must be in your control. Focus on quality at-bats, positive plate appearances, not batting average. You cannot control batting average, and when your goal is something you can't control, you're going to lose that game. Let's talk about another part of your personal process, your pre-practice hitting routine. Here are some examples of drills that you can use as a part of a pre-practice hitting routine. Doing fungo swings, a high tee away where you're using no lower half, a high tee away where you're going with a regular swing, a high tee down the middle with no lower half, a high tee in the middle with a regular swing, a high tee inside with no lower half, a high tee inside with a regular swing, going through front toss. That's a simple 8-drill pre-practice hitting routine that you can go through. Now you've got to make up your own pre-practice hitting routine and find out one that's going to work for you, but be relentless at doing it every single day. Because if you do a lot, you'll give yourself the best chance to develop. And when you develop and you become more, you'll get more results. You see, everyone wants more, but they're not always willing to work to become more. You got to work on your swing. More importantly, you got to work on yourself. You see, if you work on your swing, you'll become a better hitter. If you work on yourself, you'll become the best player you can be. And that's the goal. Every day, be working to become the best player that you can be. Let's talk about a couple more aspects of the process. Base running. Maybe the most undertaught, underutilized part of the game. You see, baseball really is a war of 90 feet. And whoever wins that freebie war, whoever gets more free bases, generally is going to win the baseball game. So let me give you an acronym. Best acronym I've come around for base running, in the base running routine or a base running process that you can go through. A is you're at the base. B is you find the baseball. C is you look at the coach. D is you read the defense. And then E is you exhale and extend into your lead. And we want to take that deep breath as we're standing on the base to move from a place of thinking into a place of trusting and reacting. So we're at the base and we're thinking, where's the ball? What's the coach going to give me? Where's the defense? Exhale and extend into your lead. A, B, C, D, E for base running. So you extend into that lead and we're focused on getting those free bases. How do we get free bases? Measure these free bases. Base on balls, hit by pitch, stolen base, error, wild pitch, pass ball, balk, catcher's interference, and a mental mistake. What's a mental mistake? Well, let's say that you've got a very fast runner on second base. And there's a base hit up the middle, and the center fielder comes up, has got no chance at throwing the guy out at the plate, tries to be a hero, and launches it home over the cutoff man's head. You, as the base runner who hit the ball to center field, take off and get right to second base. Now, in the scorebook, that does not go down as an error, but it does go down as a mental mistake and a free base. And if you get free bases, you win. A, B, C, D, E's of base running and the freebie war. You absolutely must understand what those two things are and focus on getting them every single day. You hit the ball hard, you get free bases, you win. Now that you've got a better understanding of the process, let's talk about what it means to be positive. Being positive means that you turn have to into want to. I don't have to do my pre-practice hitting routine, I want to. I get to. You have that attitude of gratitude. And you understand that your attitude is a decision. You're an energy giver, not an energy taker. You're positive. You have a positive energy, a positive mentality. Another part of being positive is focusing on what you want, not what you're trying to avoid. And we've all got that little voice inside of our head. You know that voice inside of your head that talks to you? And you might be going, Cain, I don't know what you're talking about. I do not talk to myself. That's the voice I'm referring to. And we all talk to ourselves. And if I say to you right now, do not think about a pink elephant for the next 10 seconds, immediately you start thinking about a pink elephant. If I say don't think about your right foot, bang, your attention awareness goes to your right foot. So the brain does not recognize the negative connotation. What it does recognize is the picture. So if you say don't strike out, the picture that you see is a strikeout. Don't pop up, the picture that you see is a pop up. And thoughts become things. So you must tell yourself and speak to yourself in a positive tone about what you want, not what you're trying to avoid. And as we've talked about earlier, a positive mentality is shifting from a place of winner and loser into winner and learner, and constantly learning and getting better. And being positive is also shifting away from it's good and bad. I'm sorry. I just made a mistake. And guess what? You're going to make mistakes. So I'm not going to re-record this. We're just going to get to the next pitch. That next pitch we're going to talk about here again is it's not good or bad. It's good and bad. You see, this audio is going to have a lot of good and some bad, like the mistake that I just made, but I'm going to leave that in there for a teaching point because it's about good and bad, understanding that you're never going to be perfect. And if you think you can be perfect, take this test. Go to the bathtub in your house. Fill it up with water about 6 inches and try to step in. And if you can walk on water, bro, you're perfect. You'll bat 1,000. But if you fall through and hit the bottom of the tub, guess what? You are going to fail. And you must learn to evaluate not on outcome, but on process. And you're going to make mistakes. Learn from them, flush them, and move on and play the next pitch. Another part of being positive, we talked earlier about Mike Pappy from the University of Virginia and how he would evaluate his at-bats right after the game. They featured that during the College World Series. I created a hitter's log, and it's a book that you can get on my website at briancain.com, but that hitter's log has about 300 pages where every day that you play, you can grade yourself on your at-bats. It's an idea I got from a player who used to play Major League Baseball. And he said this is one thing that his organization used to have them do coming up through the minor leagues, and he continued to do it when he was in the big leagues. And all you do is you put down the date, you put down the pitcher, what they were throwing, whether they were left or right-handed, how many outs there were when you came to the plate, what the situation was, meaning were there any base runners on, what was your plan, what were you trying to do, what type of look did you get, how did you see the ball, what was your effort level. Were you trying too hard like you were in quicksand? You know when you're in quicksand and you try too hard, you're going to sink faster? Or were you up there with a controlled rage, a relaxed intensity, and a quality approach? What was the location of the pitch that you swung at? What was the result? Was it a quality at bat? And is there anything that you remember about the pitch sequence that you got and any comments you want to write down? And if you can keep this hitter's journal, you're going to learn to become a master of yourself and a master of your mental game. And every time you go to play that team again, you can take out your journal and you can learn from how they pitched you in the past, and you can have a better understanding of what your plan should be going to home plate. So check out my hitter's journal, available at briancain.com. Well, now that you understand the 3 P's of peak performance, present, process, and positive, let's shift into the 4 R's of the 4RIP3 system. And the first R is to have a routine. You see, to be consistent, you have to have routines. Routines for how you wake up in the morning. Routines for how you get ready to go to bed at night. Routines for when you show up to the yard, how you transition from Boy Scout into bounty hunter, or from student into athlete. Just like how at the end of the day, you got to have a routine of how you transition from athlete back to student, or from bounty hunter back to Boy Scout. But you also have to have routines like your pre-practice hitting routine that we talked about, and a routine for when your at-bat starts. So think about the picture of an hourglass and funneling in, playing that pitch in the center, and then funneling back out. And we have hourglasses for every pitch of the game, and we have hourglasses for each at-bat. So let me walk you through an at-bat routine in as much detail as possible. When does your at-bat start? Well, in our system, the at-bat starts when you're 4 people away. You're sitting down on the bench. You've crossed the line that's painted in the dugout on the home plate side that says, when I cross the line, that's a hitting zone. The only people in that hitting zone are the person who's on deck in the hole, the coach, and the person who's in what we call the imagery hole, 4 people away. And you're watching the pitcher and you see him throw, and then you close your eyes and visualize yourself hitting an absolute missile somewhere in the gap. And you do that pitch for pitch, because the brain does not tell the difference between what you visualize and what you physically experience, as we'll talk about on a future track here when we get into mental imagery. So you're hardwiring in that success. Then you go and you're in the hole. And when you're in the hole, you're thinking about your plan. What pitches might they throw you last time? You might be looking at your journal. You might be stretching out, talking to a coach, looking at the pitching plan of the guy who's in the game. Or you might be getting physically loose. And then you come out and you're on deck. And when you're on deck, you're going through your pre-pitch routine by looking at the third base coach. You're getting your breath, and then you're getting in the batter's box on deck, and you're getting your timing with your foot down, going pitch for pitch with the guy in the box. And then when it's your turn to go to home plate, you grab that barrel on the bat with a dominant hand, and you walk to home plate like you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Like you're doing the octagon walk like a UFC fighter walking to the cage. You get to home plate, you clean out the batter's box, and you feel that dirt underneath your feet. You clean the box to get rid of the footprints, because it doesn't matter if you're 10 for 10 or 0 for 10. The only thing that exists and matters is this pitch. And then you look to the coach at third base or in the dugout for the sign. Maybe you've gotten a practice swing. And then you have to take a deep breath. And your deep breath is either going to happen by looking at a spot on your bat, looking at a focal point like the left field foul pole or a base, or you might tap the plate, hold your bat up out in front of you like you might see Ryan Howard do, and then take a deep breath with your bat in front of you, and then come set. So you've got to take that deep breath somewhere there in your routine, and you also want to have what we call a final thought. And your final thought is the last conscious thought that you have at home plate before that pitch is thrown. So when your hands come set, that's when you say your final thought. So some final thoughts that players use routinely would be drive it, would be on top, would be get your foot down, throw your hands, see it. And as you touch home plate and you come set with your hands, that's when you say that final thought and you cement your commitment to that part of your plan. And at that point, no more thoughts come into your mind. You're just locked in on seeing the ball, picking it up, and having a quality at bat by making quality contact, because when you hit the ball hard, you know you win. And once that pitch is thrown, bang, ball one. You're in what we call a green light. You see, inside of our R's, inside of our routine, you got to recognize where you're at. It's like driving a car. And if you've read my book, The Mental Conditioning Manual, you understand the concept of the signal light. Something I learned from my mentor, Dr. Ken Ravizza at Cal State Fullerton, where I was a grad assistant coach in 2002 and 3 and did my master's degree in sports psychology. And Ken Ravizza, in his groundbreaking and the most influential book in my life, Heads Up Baseball, he talks about how performance awareness is like driving a car. And when you come to a green light, you go. You come to a red light, you stop. But when you come to that yellow light, you got to make a decision. Do I speed up or do I slow down? What am I doing here? And that's where you are in the batter's box. After that pitch, bang, ball one. Let's say you're in green lights. You're sticking to your green light routine, which is to, again, look at the third base coach, get your deep breath, come up, come set with your final thought, drive it, and you're back in there trusting, ready to go. Let's say that next pitch. You get your pitch. Oh, man, you follow it off, and you're pissed. You've got what we call red light energy. So your red light, before you refocus on taking that breath and playing the next pitch, you got to release, you got to flush it. So a flush it or a release could be just to clean out the batter's box again. Probably the simplest one. And as you clean out that batter's box, that's your release. When you're on the bases, your release can be clapping your hands. Right? You're out in your lead, they pick off, bang, you get back, you just beat it, you stand up, you get a deep breath, and you clap your hands to release. So the release has 3 parts to it. You're going to do something physical, clap your hands on the bases, or wipe the ground with your feet if you're hitting or playing defense. I encourage you to use that same release of cleaning the box. And then take a deep breath and have something verbal that you say. The thing I often encourage players to say is, so what next pitch? Or so what? because there's nothing you can do about it. That last pitch is over. And again, we've addressed that you're not that bad of a player that you need every play to go your way or every call to go your way for you to win. So say, so what? Get back in the box, ready to compete. And one of my friends, a coach at Arizona State, said to me, he goes, Brian, as you're talking about green lights and red lights, he goes, our guys play most of the time in yellow lights. Every player plays most of the time in yellow lights. And I thought, man, I haven't thought about that, but that's genius because that's true. So you're going to be in yellow lights, so you've got to have kind of that yellow light release, what might be the one we're talking about cleaning the box, and then a red light release, which might be clean the box, actually get out of the box, take 2 practice swings, fix your batting gloves, and get back to it. But you got to recognize where you're at, pitch to pitch. And then let's say you strike out, because with the teams I work with, we practice striking out because it's going to happen. And when you walk back to the dugout, you put that barrel in your hand, you look out at that pitcher, you make eye contact, and you walk back to the dugout with big body language, head up tall. You walk back in the dugout, you put your bat away, you put your helmet away, and if you're wearing batting gloves, unstrap your batting gloves, but leave them on your hands. If you don't wear batting gloves, leave your helmet in your hands. And when you get back and you want to beat yourself up, fine. You want to evaluate that at-bat, hopefully as well, and learn from it and write in your journal. And then when you put the helmet away or when you take your batting gloves off, that at-bat is over. It's finished. And you're moving on to play defense. You're moving on to be a good teammate in the dugout supporting your brothers in battle. And that's the routine that we follow to go pitch to pitch. Now, if you go to my YouTube channel on briancain.com, you're going to be able to see videos of hitters using the same exact routine so that you can have a visual for this as well. Now that we've talked about the routine, let's talk more about recognizing, because that's probably the hardest part of the mental game, is recognizing where you're at, recognizing your signal lights. So the questions that I would ask myself if I were you to learn about my signal lights is that when I'm in green lights and I'm at my best, what do I say to myself? How do I feel? What situations give me green lights? And you may say, when I'm in green lights, I say, I dare you to throw me a fastball. I got this. I want to hit. Get me to the box. How do you feel, right? How do you feel when you got green lights? I feel unbeatable. I feel tall. I feel like my hands are really quick. I feel strong. I feel focused. And what situations put you in green lights? I've had quality at-bats. The guy in front of me hits a missile. Hopefully you're saying that I get in green lights by following my routine. And then we do the same thing for yellow lights and the same thing for red lights. Most commonly I hear when guys are in red lights, what do I say to myself? I suck. This guy's throwing cheese. I can't even hit. I'm terrible. Are they going to pinch hit for me? How do you feel when you're in red lights? Tight, slow, like the bat weighs 100 pounds, like I can't even see the baseball. It's like a damn BB coming at me. And what situations put you in red lights? I strike out, umpire's bad call, I miss a hit and run, the guy gets thrown out, I pop up a bunt. Any of those things can put you into red lights, but you've got to learn about yourself, and that's probably the hardest part of the mental game, is learning about yourself to be able to recognize where you're at and get back into the moment. And again, once you recognize a red light or a yellow light, you go to your release, which has 3 parts to it: something physical that you do, a deep breath, and a verbal to help you then refocus on the next pitch. And your refocus routine consists of 2 things: your deep breath, and then your final thought as you come set with your hands. Let's now talk about, from a defensive standpoint, how to use the R's. You see, defensively, you got to have a routine. Defensively, though, the challenge is you don't have a batter's box that you step into that says, now I'm ready. You don't have a rubber that you step on that says, now I'm ready. You don't have a base that you extend off of that says, now I'm ready. So defensively, what we do is we draw in front of us what we call the circle of focus. It's another concept I learned from Dr. Ken Ravizza at Cal State Fullerton in his book, Heads Up Baseball. And as you draw that circle, how you open up that circle of focus is you take a deep breath and step in. So every defensive player I work with, we train them to take a deep breath, pound your hand into your glove, and pound that hand in your glove and step in. So the deep breath allows you to get in the present moment. Pounding the glove gets you a little bit of awareness and aggressiveness. And you have a final thought you may say to yourself, which could be, go get it. Outfielders would often say nothing hits. Infielders are going to say hit it to me. That's probably the one I hear the most of a final thought defensively is hit it to me. So again, that defensive routine. Deep breath. I step in my circle of focus. I'm pounding my hand as I get in there, and I'm saying hit it to me. My release defensively, should I make an error, is I may take my glove off my hand and I clean up the dirt underneath just like it's a batter's box. Or I turn my back to home plate and I look out at the left field or right field foul pole, or from a center fielder, I pick a focal point in center field, which might be the number on the center field wall. And I look at that number, I take a deep breath, I say, so what? And my physical move is I put that glove back on my hand and turn my face back to home plate, which says, I'm ready for the next pitch. Hit it to me. Let's go. It's that defensive routine that's going to help you play pitch to pitch. Because the crazy thing about baseball is you play a game, it's probably going to take you about 3 hours. There might be like 8 minutes worth of actual execution of a skill. From the time the ball is thrown until it's caught or it's hit and play and that pitch stops, it might be like 8 to 10 minutes. So you've got all that time to make sure that you're not focused for 3 hours, because you really can't be. You've got to be able to come in and come out, funnel in and funnel out. And you have to be where you need to be when you need to be there. Something that Dave Snow, the former head baseball coach at Long Beach State, said. He said, you got to be where you need to be when you need to be there. And I heard Dan McDonald, the head baseball coach at Louisville, say, you got to be where your feet are. So when that pitch is about to be being thrown defensively, you step in that circle of focus. You got to be where your feet are. You got to be in that moment, energy out, wanting that baseball one pitch at a time. That's your defensive routine. So now that you understand about the 3 P's of peak performance, living in the present, one pitch at a time, focusing on the process and controlling what you can control, and staying positive, turning all those have-tos into want-tos, and focusing on what you want to do, not what you are trying to avoid, you understand the importance of routines for consistency and how you must recognize your signal lights, release, and then refocus. Let's talk about the I of the 4-RIP3 system, which is mental imagery. You see, mental imagery is one of the most underutilized skills in the offensive scheme of baseball. Mental imagery is actually visualizing in your mind's eye, like watching a motion picture in your mind of what you're trying to do. So if you're a coach listening to this and you do a scouting report before a game, Cliff Godwin, the offensive coach and the hitting coach at Ole Miss, now the head baseball coach at East Carolina, what he used to do in his pregame hitters meetings is he would talk about the pitcher, who they were going to face, show a video if he had it, and then he'd have the hitters close their eyes and see the pitches that they just saw on the screen or the pitcher that they were talking about in their scouting report, and have his hitters go through scenarios and situations of having quality at-bats and hitting missiles all over the yard. When I was with the TCU baseball team at the Mountain West Conference Championship in 2006 in Las Vegas, we were facing a pitcher named Jesse Crane from BYU, who was one of the best pitchers that we had seen all year, and he owned us at that time. And we knew that if we were going to win that Mountain West Conference Championship, we were going to have to beat him. So what we did was, in the conference room at the hotel, one of the hitting coaches got an LCD projector and a laptop, and he put up some video of that pitcher. And all the hitters were in there before we got on the bus with their bat, with their helmet, with their batting gloves, doing kind of like a virtual reality, where they had the LCD pulled back so far that Jesse Crane was the 6 foot that he is in real life on the wall, and they were getting their foot down and seeing the ball and just getting their timing. But then after they'd see the pitch, they'd close their eyes and visualize themselves hitting a missile somewhere in the yard. And then later that day, TCU ended up beating BYU and going on to win that Mountain West Conference Championship. Now, there's a lot of hitters, and Evan Longoria talks about this in his E60, about using mental imagery in the dugout. We've already talked about using it 4 people away. But if you're not in the lineup, if you're sitting on the bench or you're hurt, you have to take what's called a mental at-bat. And a mental at-bat is where, when someone in the lineup who's playing your position or for a certain number of innings during the game, you're going to get your bat, your batting gloves, and stand up somewhere in the dugout when your team's on offense, and you're going to watch the pitcher. And you're going to go through your routine by taking your deep breath. You're going to get that foot down, and after you see the pitcher throw, you're going to visualize yourself hitting that ball. And you're going to go for an entire inning, or you're going to do every at-bat with the person who's playing your position. We call that taking a mental at-bat. And in 2010, TCU had a player named Joe Wyke. And Joe hadn't played much early in the season. And about the middle of the year, towards the end of the season, Joe got an opportunity. And Joe took full advantage of that opportunity and started playing every day and made himself the NCAA regional MVP. And in a video interview, Joe talks about how, I wasn't playing early in the year, but I was taking my mental at-bats. I was having quality work in the cage, and I knew I'd be prepared when my opportunity came to go out there and seize that opportunity. And taking mental at-bats is going to help you be prepared because your opportunity is going to come. The question is, are you going to be ready? Are you going to maximize that opportunity? Because what I see in baseball players all the time when they're not playing is they get bitter. They get negative. I saw it a ton, especially this past year, 2014. It was disgusting. Players just bitter that they weren't playing. Well, dude, if you're not playing and you get bitter, you're not going to play because you're not getting better. And you have to make the choice that you're either going to get bitter or you're going to get better. And get better. And one of the ways to get better is by doing mental imagery. And the reason why imagery is effective is because the brain cannot tell the difference between what you physically do and what you vividly imagine. It's processed the same way. It's why you get scared when you're at a scary movie. It's why when you're having that dream and you're falling off an airplane, you're about to hit the ground, you jump up in bed. You're not actually falling off an airplane and the guy is not coming through the screen with an axe to kill you. But you think that they are. So you process that way and you have a physiological body response to that psychological stimulus. It's the same thing with doing mental imagery. So in this next track, I'm going to take you through the 4 steps of mental imagery. Number 1 is relaxation. So I'll talk you into a relaxed state. Number 2 is confidence conditioning, where I'm going to say some positive statements and affirmations that you're going to say to yourself, but say them with confidence and conviction and belief to train that positive self-talk. Then we're going to do mental recall, where you recall your greatest baseball performances of all time. And then we're going into mental rehearsal, where you're going to rehearse for your next baseball performance. The 4 steps of mental imagery. I encourage you to do mental imagery every night when you're going to sleep before a game. I encourage you as a player that after you take BP and the other team's taking batting practice and you're going back in the locker room to get something to eat or to hang out with the boys, take 10 minutes, go to the athletic training room, get off your feet, get something to eat, and go through this mental imagery training track, and you will be creating your success before it happens, because everything happens twice, first in your mind, then in reality. Let's do some mental imagery. So the first step of mental imagery is to get you into a relaxed state. So I want you to either sit up straight in your chair with your feet flat on the floor and your hands in the lap in front of you or on the arms of your chair, or lay down on your back and put your feet flat on the floor or your legs straight out in front of you. And now gently close your eyes and bring your awareness and attention to your breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth, one breath at a time. In through your nose, out through your mouth, one breath at a time. And as you continue to focus on your breathing, when you hear the number 5, bring your awareness and attention to your toes, the balls of your feet, your arches, your ankles, your Achilles, your calves, your shins, as they release, relax, and let go. And when you hear the number 4, your knees, your quads, your hamstrings, your hips, your whole lower body, just release, relax, and let go. And when you hear the number 3, your lower back, your mid back, your upper back, your abs, your obliques, your ribs, your pecs, your whole torso, just release, relax, and let go. And when you hear the number 2, your traps, your shoulders, your biceps, your triceps, your elbows, your forearms, your hands, your fingers, release, relax, and let go. And when you hear the number 1, the back of your neck, the back of your head, your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw. Your lips gently part and the tongue just hangs in your mouth as a total body relaxation takes over. And what you'll realize is that the more relaxed you become, the better you might feel, and the better you might feel, the more relaxed you might want to become. Please now shift your awareness and attention to your right leg and lift your right leg an inch off the ground. Hold it there, hold it there, hold it there, drop it. And now your left leg, an inch off the ground. Hold it there, hold it there, hold it there, drop it. And now where your glutes are, squeeze your glutes, 50% tension, 75, full tension, tight, tight, and release. Notice how you control the levels of tension and relaxation in your body. And now your right arm, let's make 50% tension, 75, full tension, tight, tight, and release. Just let that arm go. Just let it go. And now the left arm, 50% tension, 75, full tension, tight, tight, and release. Let that left arm go. Just let it go. And now with your face, squeeze your face muscles like there's an iron mask on your face. 50% tension, 75, full tension, tight, tight, and release. Just let the face go. Just let yourself go. And let your head roll side to side until it finds that quiet place to call home. And we'll now shift into confidence conditioning. Please repeat the following phrases to yourself. There's no need to say them out loud, but say them with a confidence, with a conviction, and a belief of every fiber of your being. I play the game one pitch at a time. I play the game one pitch at a time. I play the game one pitch at a time. I control what I can control and let go of what I can't. I control what I can control and let go of what I can't. I control what I can control and let go of what I can't. I always hit with confidence and belief in myself. I always hit with confidence and belief in myself. I always hit with confidence and belief in myself. I now want you to go back to a moment in time when you were playing your best baseball. You were locked in at the plate, driving the ball all over the yard. Go back to those games and replay them, recall them in your mind as if they're happening now. Play those at-bats as if they're happening right now. See them as if they're in HD, crystal clear. Hear them as if they're in stereo sound. And feel it as if it's happening now. Smell the smells, taste the tastes, build in as many senses as you possibly can to what it was like when you were at your best. What did it look like when you were at your best? What was your body language like? Where was your focus? Where was your breathing? You were in that moment, totally locked in, committed to that moment, to that pitch. Replay it as clear as you can. And now as I count down from 10 to 0, I want you to replay the success and the highlights of your career in your mind like you're watching a highlight video. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And now, I want you to move forward to your next baseball performance, whether that's inter-squad, scrimmage, outside competition, or practice. And I want you to now experience yourself walking from the on-deck circle or your on-deck octagon to home plate. Walking big with that bat, that barrel in your dominant hand. You get to home plate, you clean out that box. Run around second base. I want you to take that deep breath and then unload on a ball in the gap, scoring that run. Put yourself in that next game. I want you to be at home plate now, just absolutely dropping bombs and hitting missiles all over the yard, making quality contact. Go. See it. Feel it. Hear it. See it. Feel it. Hear it. I want you to wear out the opposite side of the field. Wear out the opposite side gap. Just barreling balls, backspin in that gap. Go. See it. Feel it. Hear it. See it. Feel it. Hear it. And now balls to the pull side. Just crushing that corner infielder. Barreling that ball between them. Down the line. Into the gap. All pull side quality contact. Go. See it. Feel it. Hear it. And now put yourself on first base. I want you to take that free base. I want you to extend in your lead and take off when you read that ball in the dirt. Again, at first base, extend into your lead, see that ball in the dirt, take off, beat the throw with a great slide. And now defensively, as I count down from 10 to 0, I want you to make plays on balls hit your way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now please take one more good deep breath. And as you exhale, open up your eyes and bring yourself back to this room right here, right now. Again, the brain does not tell the difference between what you physically do and what you vividly imagine. Your goal is to use mental imagery as often as you can, whether it's sitting in the dugout, waiting for an at-bat, taking a mental at-bat, or listening to this audio the night before you play or before you play that day, getting your mind right for quality at-bats, positive plate appearances, and giving yourself the absolute best chance for success. Well, there you have it, our 4-RIP3 system for playing the best and having the best mental game of hitting approach you've ever had. You understand about our base running ABCDE program. You understand what a quality at bat is, how to get free bases, what a pre-practice hitting routine is like. You understand our 4-RIP3 system of living in the present, focusing on the process and staying positive, how to have routines to be consistent, to recognize, release, and refocus and play one pitch at a time. You understand now where you're at with the 4 stages of acceptance, that it's either not for you, or it's okay for others, or I'll try it, or I can't believe I did it any other way. Or the 4 stages of commitment, that I go to a job, I got to do work, I got a career, or I'm a man on a mission. And if you're a man on a mission, you're going to wear out this CD. You're going to play with confidence. You're going to constantly be evaluating where you're at on a scale of 1 to 10 and how you're going to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be by coming up with strategies for success of what you're going to start doing, what you're going to stop doing, and what you're going to continue doing. You're going to use your hitting journal and become a student of yourself. Because if you want more, you must, absolutely must, become more. And I want to help you. So check me out on Twitter at Brian Cain Peak. Check out my podcast. Visit me on Facebook. And if you go to briancain.com/Monday, you can sign up for my Monday message, where I send out an email every Monday with tips, strategies, stories, and videos that you can use to play your best when it means the most today in this pitch. Thanks for checking out this program. Go get what you want.